4 all-new scare zones, new constructions, and street experiences? What even is that? There is so much going on inside of Universal Studios Orlando as far as Halloween Horror Nights goes. We have a lot to go over today. Good afternoon from Universal Studios. It is my day off. All of the scare zones have been announced for Halloween Horror Nights 34 this year, as well as some other surprises we had no idea was coming. New experiences called street experiences are actually coming to HHN this year, and we're gonna go over that as well. We're gonna go over the details of every scare zone and experience announced for HHN 34. Absolutely nothing is confirmed, but I'm gonna share my thoughts on where I think the locations of each scare zone is gonna be and the experiences as well. So let's go inside the park. Let's go check out all the park updates, the Halloween Horror Nights construction updates, all the scare zone information, and the street experiences as well. But most importantly, let's go enjoy the day. 1 week later and still no medallion out front. Of course, this will come in due time. We know it will. Officially inside of Universal Studios Orlando, and our updates kind of start right here in the entranceway to the park. As far as true hard updates in this area, you guessed it, we got some lighting rigs right on top of the Universal Suite store right over here. And actually, if you look close, these ones are on and testing. Right there, nice orange lights. We also have some confirmation of what the Halloween Horror Nights entranceway is going to look like this year. Every year to welcome us to the event, as soon as you make it onto Production Central, which is that like main street here at Universal Studios, there is always an entrance truss right at the beginning of the park where it says Halloween Horror Nights in red neon letters. We got confirmation that this year there's going to be a slight change to that sign. Instead of red, they'll be changing it to a bluish turquoise color to fit the vibe of the theme this year. And also confirmed that the theme this year is going to be set in a conservatory. Now, like I said earlier, we're talking about scare zones today. And in the last few years, the section we're actually standing on right now has been the welcoming scare zone. In years past, the scare zone stretched all the way down towards Production Central over there, which is now Minion Land. In more recent years, they just kept this scare zone in the front of the park right over this way. But I think I speak for everyone when I say, I really hope to see that scare zone extend all the way down past Minion Land this year. Now, if I had to guess which scare zone is going to be here in the entranceway of the park, based on what we know about the sign changing to fit the theme and the overall theme being a conservatory, I'm thinking this scare zone at the beginning of the park is going to be the Origins of Horror scare zone. Stroll through the garden of the conservatory where monuments pay tribute to the terrors of Halloween Horror Nights 34. Each statue stands as a preview of the nightmares that await beyond. Don't let your guard down. Massive crows circle ominously, their eyes tracking your every move. Now, this scare zone is confirmed to have gargoyles that have come alive, and we're also getting a special visit from HHN Hollywood last year. The giant crows from the Murders of Crows scare zone are coming to Orlando this year. I think that's pretty fantastic. Another cool detail confirmed is to fit the conservatory theme, there's actually going to be statues of every IP in this scare zone. So think about it. We're going to be walking next to statues of Art the Clown, Five Nights at Freddy, Jason Voorhees. Now heading into the Hollywood Boulevard scare zone. Let's see if there's any park updates in here. And hello, old friend. The old truss. I feel like we've been best friends for 3 weeks now. More lights have been rigged up all down this section, even more so than last week. There's even some that are pointed towards certain things. Those are most likely going to be the ones that like project images onto the floor. Yes, on both sides of the street. You probably can't see because of the glare of the sun right there that is setting. But there are more lighting rigs up on top of the buildings over there as well. Hollywood Boulevard usually houses one of the largest scare zones of the year, and I have a guess of what scare zone is going to call Hollywood Boulevard home. Masquerade Dance with Death. You're invited to a masquerade ball where bloodthirsty vampires lurk behind ornate disguises. When their masks fall, you become their prey. Big key thing I'm taking from that description is when their masks fall. So what does that mean? Like, are the characters going to be wearing masks that like eventually fall and then reveal a face and then they're going to scare us from there? That actually sounds pretty fantastic. There is still a ton of merchandise for Terrifier here in the 5 and Dime. Let's check it out real quick. Yes, everything's still available. The piece to the stained glass window. We have the Ringer shirt still there. There he is. Speaking of Terrifier, let's go over some new details about the actual house that have come out this year. This house is going to be more than a doozy. What's more than a doozy? A whoozy what's it? Yeah, I mean, we all pretty much assumed that this house was going to be crazy and push the limits of gore and all that stuff. I feel like this is going to be one of those houses where most people either love it or they absolutely hate this house. But not only are the limits going to be pushed in this house, where we're going to see some gruesome scenes, but apparently we're going to have more water features in this house than ever before. Now, also from what I've heard on reading Twitter and things like that, that there's actually going to be a split ending to this house where you can kind of choose your own path. They've done this in years past, the Dueling Dragons house that was here at HHN 32, I believe. But rather than choosing thy fate, fire and ice, you're actually going to be choosing between the dry path and the wet path. The wet path in a haunted house. So, like any other Halloween Horror Nights enthusiast, I'm gonna try both of those paths and see which one I like more. So which begs the question, which bodily fluid are we going to be drenched in the Terrifier house for HHN 34? We'll find out at the end of August. Now, Universal has been going all out for Halloween Horror Nights this year. It's like they really are putting everything they got into this year, which is crazy. I don't think any of us saw this coming, but not only do we have a crazy lineup of IPs, a crazy lineup of original houses, but they're adding new experiences, and that is the street experiences, which is right over to my left, right over here. At this stage in the game, being a theme park guy for this long, it takes a lot to get shocked by different announcements here. And for Halloween Horror Nights this year, they're doing just that, because this Mels DriveIn, which is better known as Mels Die-In during Halloween Horror Nights, this is the site of the first street experience for Halloween Horror Nights this year. Mels Die-In Zombies. There are not many details of what these street experiences are exactly going to be, but I'm going to touch on both of them that were announced today. People absolutely love Mels Drive-In. Honestly, you don't hear many people talking about the food inside of Mels Drive-In, but one of the things they do here for Halloween Horror Nights is they change the neon that happens right on the sign over there. Every single year for Horror Nights, they turn off the R and the V in this sign to make it Mels Die-In. And honestly, people just look forward to seeing that up in the skyline for Horror Nights. I mean, I know for me, finally seeing the Mels Die-In sign here at Universal means it's the start of the season. It's literally just a sign, but the diehards of HHN, the diehards of Universal, we love seeing that every single year. So much so that last year they released merchandise for Mels Die-In for the first time ever. They released a pin, they released a t-shirt. I bought both, and I'm not even kidding, within the first week of that shirt being released, that shirt sold out so quickly. So I have to guess, since that merchandise sold so well, and they saw the outpour of people that love the sign from Mels Die-In, why not add it to the show, right? Very, very awesome that Universal did this for us. Very awesome for the HHN community, but super cool for the Universal diehards. We love this. Get it? Diehards. Die-in. Horror Nights, whatever. Nothing has been said or confirmed about this street experience except that there's going to be zombie car hops all around this area. I can only assume that they'll be on roller skates too, because, you know, that's what they did in this time frame. No action over here at the Cafe La Bamba eating area, but let's head into the Central Park Scary Zone for our second speculation on what is going to take place here at Halloween Horror Nights 34. First things first, right behind this gate, I see a speaker that's definitely going to be used for Horror Nights. Also tucked behind this bush over here is some sort of tarp covering like a platform of some sort. Maybe there's going to be a set piece, or maybe that's where characters are going to stand. Also on the left hand side, it looks like we have another speaker over here, but also another platform. I wonder what could go here. Like I said, it could be an actual set piece or something that somebody's going to stand on to scare us, be all spooky. Looks like in the corner of this house over here, they've added a power box. And now coming up on that field where last week we saw all those surveying marks, the survey marks are still there, but there's also this platform right in the middle of the field over there. It's probably going to be for a major set piece. Also in the back end over here, it looks like they added another power box of some sort. Do not touch this. It'll be quite shocking. Okay, over here as well, last week where we saw this area kind of cleared out of all the bushes, and we saw some surveying marks over here as well. Another platform. And coming up to what I'm coining now the triple cage of doom, no updates over this way. Still the same trusses. And the actual sad news is this isn't the triple cage of doom. I'm sorry guys, this is not this triple cage from WCW. We're actually thinking this is going to be a house based on what Scare Zone is speculated to be in the Central Park area. So based on an educated guess and the concept art that we've seen for the flyer of the Scare Zone, I'm thinking this Scare Zone is going to be the Cat Lady of Crooked Lane. Is that not the funniest name for a Scare Zone ever in the history of Horror Nights? That might be. This Scare Zone gives a whole new meaning to Cat Lady. Wrought iron gates guard the entrance to Crooked Lane, a shadowy winding path that leads straight to her lair. Local legend whispers that she lures unsuspecting trick-or-treaters down this winding road, only to transform them into feline companions for her ever-growing collection. Enter if you dare, but don't be surprised if you leave with a few extra lives. And a tail. Very different from what I've experienced at Horror Nights, but the lore actually goes super deep for this Scare Zone as well. Apparently, this was one of the posters hanging up in Slaughter Cinema 2 last year in the house. And there's lore and there's meaning behind it. That's what really gets me going. That's what brings out the passion in me, and I love it. The reason I and everybody else in internet land is thinking that this Scare Zone is going into Central Park for a few different reasons on the concept art. First things first, there's a winding path. Just like in that Central Park Scare Zone, there's a winding path that leads to whatever that structure is that I thought was the Triple Cage of Doom from WCW. It might actually be a house now that we're thinking about it. So that means we're all safe from being thrown off the top of that cage. Also, just the overall vibe we get from this picture. There's pumpkins everywhere. There's pumpkins in the trees, which there used to be pumpkins lining the trees in that area. So we're all hoping that comes back. I'm hoping it comes back. Universal is diving in this year and they're going hard. They're expanding the scare zones this year, which we see evidently in this scare zone too. This is the first time that I can recall that the scare zones actually extended past the wooded area of Central Park. There was a time in the past where I called myself a cat daddy. I've always been more of a dog guy, but I really can't wait to be attacked by humanoid kittens. It's gonna be excessively fun. The sky looks pretty rainy right now. Looks pretty scary. Hopefully we miss the rain and dodge it. Oh, ominous thunder in the background. Horror Nights. And a quick look at the sprung text over here in the Simpsons Queue. Look at that. Oh my gosh, the facades are going up. I don't know if you can see behind these trees, but the facade for whatever this house is going up right now. What's speculated to be the Dolls Let's Play house, that facade is taking on a whole new life of its own over there as well. Very cool. As you can see on the facade of that house, there's a nice pointed roof. There's even shingles on the roof. Kind of looking reminiscent of a dollhouse, so Dolls Let's Play Dead. Very, very good speculation that it's going to be there. Oh my goodness, the bad weather is coming, but that's not going to stop us from Bridge Update. Week 3, bridge, man. Oh my gosh, they're taking the whole dang thing apart. Platform completely ripped off there. Gonna replace it to something brand new. Awesome. No updates over here in the MIB hub, but usually there is a house entrance over this way every single year. Last year, this was the entrance to the Slaughter Cinema 2 house, which we already referenced one Slaughter Cinema reference earlier on in the Cat Lady Scare Zone. We actually have another Slaughter Cinema reference. That makes it 3 total this year. That's crazy. We have the house Hatchet and Chains that comes directly from the scene of Slaughter Cinema 2 last year. We have the poster from the Cat Lady Scare Zone in the house last year as well. And there's one more, and I'll touch on that in a little bit, but we have to get to New York to talk about that. No update to the truss work over here. That's gonna have 2 entrances to houses over here in London, and obviously there's no Horror Nights updates over here. But we did, however, last week go inside of Diagon Alley where we saw some updates for what could possibly be the Deatheaters. We saw a couple stage, a couple props that do correlate what usually goes on with the Deatheaters in that section for Horror Nights. So speculating that they might be coming back. Who knows? Nothing confirmed yet. They can just not show up. If you want to see my in-depth coverage of what's going inside of Diagon Alley for Horror Nights, I'll put the link down below to last week's video and you can check it out there. We still have an hour to park close, but I feel like there's still so much to talk about. So many updates going on here, and I'm looking at one right now. Okay, something brand new has popped up that I've never seen before for any Horror Nights. There's some truss work going on in this backstage area over here, right next to the Amity Island Lobster sign and King's Cross Station right to my right. I wonder if this has something to do with that street experience. The second and final street experience announced for Halloween Horror Nights this year is Club Horror. That's it. Just Club Horror. Doesn't sound like a club where you could pick up the ladies. Maybe some Ladies of the Living Dead. And just like the street experience for the Mels DriveIn zombies, there's not much detail about this other than there's gonna be a DJ. But it makes sense because it's a club. It's a club feel. So it might extend behind me in this backstage area, obviously with the truss being there. Now, this is usually a scare zone, but what I'm thinking, like I said before, this might just be part of that new street experience where they're gonna have Club Horror at. Club Horror. Club Horror. 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 How now, Brown Cow? And I say that based on what we see from the updates up here. Tons of lights. Stuff very reminiscent if you go to one of the clubs here in downtown Orlando. Which, by the way, I don't go to clubs. That time of my life was very short-lived and it's over. I'm definitely going to relive my early 20s and come to Club Horror every single time I'm here at HHN. Gonna get crunk. Do people still say that? Crunk? They said there were to be a DJ in that street experience, so whatever they're setting up here could be the DJ. Even the lights for Fast and Furious that are here all year long can work out for this street experience. Almost at scare zone. It's not a scare zone, it's a experience. And this little stage set up over here too, this can definitely house a little DJ booth up there, scratching records and such. I must sound so cool when I see things like that. All I know is we have 2 months of Halloween Horror Nights season. Just once in this experience, I want to hear bah, 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 bah. Quick little update over in Little Amity. The Nathan's Hot Dog stand is down, and also the little food booth for Jaws, the Jaws 50th, that's down too. That means we're getting ever so closer to Horror Nights Construction. They're getting rid of all this stuff. Something's got to replace it, right? I will say, I'm having an absolute blast over here, walking around the park, checking on all the updates, talking about the scare zones. I friggin' love this. This is amazing. And same as last week, nothing from what I could see over in the Fast and Furious Queue sprung tent. Just the tent, no set pieces. The New York City section of Universal Studios is truly, truly special at night. Oh, I love this. Okay, walking around here, you'll be shocked to know that I have no lights updates here in New York City. But I do have a couple of other things that like a lot of people are talking about, a lot of people are speculating about, and it has to do with what's right in front of me. The Palace Arcade here in the New York section has completely been closed off. There are blue tarps completely covering the entranceway over here and on all sides of this. The arcade is completely gone. Now, the reason for the arcade being shut down could be for a plethora of different reasons. Plethora, what a good word. First thing, it could just be getting renovated. We don't know. They could be putting new games in there, a new game system. It could just be a new arcade. A lot of people are talking about that this could be the experience for Five Nights at Freddy's. And what exactly would be inside of the arcade, if they do make it Five Nights at Freddy themed, we don't know. Could it be a Five Nights at Freddy arcade? Could it be a food booth, a very big food booth? All we know that Five Nights at Freddy is coming to Horror Nights this year in a major capacity, in a brand new way to experience things. So this can very well have something to do with that. The third option is something that a lot of people are talking about, which I kind of hope isn't what's going on, but there's been no talk of a tribute store happening this year at Halloween Horror Nights. Now, tribute stores are part of the culture here at Universal. It's something to look forward to every season, especially Halloween Horror Nights season. I know for one, I love going to the tribute store, getting to film all the merchandise, getting to experience whatever they come up with, because Universal kills it. Every single tribute store. They're amazing. Christmas, Mardi Gras, Halloween Horror Nights, they knock it out of the park every single time. So I really hope they do go ahead with a normal tribute store that we usually get over here in the New York City section. But there's been talks that the arcade is going to be the new spot for the tribute store, which will be different. It'll be definitely a different vibe than it has been in a long time. The arcade is definitely going to be very small compared to what they have done in the past for tribute stores. I mean, let's be real, either way, whatever's gonna happen in that arcade, I'm gonna enjoy it and I'm gonna experience it and I'm gonna smile my whole way through it. But we'll see. I'm still holding out for a normal tribute store that we have every year here in New York, and maybe the arcade becoming something for Five Nights at Freddy. Who knows? And of course, New York City is home to one of the biggest scare zones every single year, and this year is no different. This is what I think, my presumptions, is going to be the scare zone here this season. Mutations Toxic 20s. In a 1920s neighborhood, a BuzzCon truck with radioactive cargo crashes into a mobster getaway car, sending the city into a toxic pandemonium. First thing I think of when I see this scare zone is Dead Exposure from HHN Hollywood last year. I loved that house. I loved the giant monkey in there. In New York, there's this fake subway system thing down here. I'm gonna go down there and talk. Why not? Also, another reason why I think this scare zone is going to be in New York, because hey, mobsters, the 20s. Mobsters fit the very fiber of New York City, especially in the 20s. Anyways, I love the thought of the scare zone. I love New York City. I love the mobsters. I feel like I'm just gonna see a bunch of my old family members in the scare zone. Forget about it, huh? Now, the major thing that calls out to me during this description is BuzzCon, which references two houses in the past. BuzzCon was referenced in last year's Slaughter Cinema House. Also, this has strong ties to a house from a few years ago called Bugs Eaten Alive. In the Bugs Eaten Alive house, we were at BuzzCon, and they were selling this product, this toxic product that was supposed to be killing the bugs, which in fact turned them gigantic and huge, and they started killing everybody and eating us alive. So really cool that they're referencing that house in this scare zone for Halloween Horror Nights 34. Park area here in New York is still closed off. Still have no idea if that's just a refurbishment or something for Halloween Horror Nights. And again, Five Nights at Freddy's comes to mind, but I know people have been joking about that, so probably not. One small update here at the Metropolis Tribune, the sign for the Metropolis Tribune has been taken down. It was right there like last week. So one could assume they definitely have some sort of plan for this building. It could be projection mapping, maybe someone standing up on that awning over there, maybe a spooky mobster. And as we're exiting the park, and as Pharrell's Happy plays off in the background, I don't see any updates over here as far as the scare zone goes. Just the copious amounts of lights they've added to this section over the last couple weeks. It's been a very good night, a very fun, until I saw this guy's face. Guys, we did it. Another week, a third week of talking about Halloween Horror Nights construction updates. I had a blast. I probably had more fun than I should have. Guys, I love this so much. This is something I'm insanely passionate about, not for myself, but also to bring everyone information that ever watches this video that is also gonna come enjoy this event along with me. I love that. I love that I get to bring that to you guys as well. Lots of small movements going inside that park. Obviously, we saw a lot of the construction in the Central Park area. We got to see whatever is happening over in San Francisco. That scare zone area extends to the backstage that we've never seen that before. And of course, we got to talk about all the scare zones that are happening this year at HHN 34, where I think they might be on the map of Universal Studios. And of course, we got to talk about those new street experiences too. Tell me down below which scare zone or experience that you guys are looking forward to most. Honestly, the one I'm kind of looking forward to is the cat lady on Crooked Street. That sounds really fun and different. I'm also super intrigued on the Origins of Horror scare zone right in the beginning of the park. Those statues of all the IPs is going to look phenomenal. Guys, if you made it to this part of the video, I just want to extend a very big, heartfelt thank you. It means a lot. There are a lot of people out here covering this event, and if you chose to click on my little face, thank you. It really means a lot. I'm glad we got to spend some time together. Got to know each other a little bit, kind of like a first date. If you want to have a second date, why don't you hit the subscribe button? That was so bad. Forget I said that. If you want to hit the subscribe button, that would help out the channel tremendously. It means a lot to me. We're at 320 subscribers. That's a lot more than I ever thought I would get in my first year of doing YouTube. I'm excited when I see that number. And of course, my goal right now is to hit 500. Let's get the 500 together. If you like this video and you want to hang out more, and if not, that's totally fine too. I appreciate you watching. I'm literally just a dude that bought a camera and decided to record one day. We got to see all the park updates, all the updates we have for HHN so far. We got to talk about all the scare zones and the new street experiences in this video. But most importantly, I enjoyed my day. Thank you for watching. Remember to stay hydrated, get your protein in, and good night.